Hello and welcome, stampers and crafters. Welcome to my Friday Facebook Live. I'm Sarah Chatello from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am here today to help you build your competence and creativity using Stampin' Up! Products and crafting with me. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. A couple of things before we jump right into our card. First, I'm going to try to get over into the VIP group. And just today, I announced our new event in the VIP group. It is a Zoom craft night. So if you want to get crafty, I don't know what I hit, but if you want to get crafty with a bunch of people, not a bunch, I mean, there's a few, but our last one was super fun. So if you want to get crafty with me and some other folks, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video to join the VIP group. The craft night is January 29th at 8 p.m. Sorry, I am trying to find this video on the page so that way I can share it into the group and it's not coming up because I hit it too soon. So while I do that, let's talk about prizes. So last week's prize for leaving a comment on this video or sharing this video or doing both was this beautiful Blushing Bride ribbon. And the winner of that this week is Shirley Stout. Congratulations, Shirley. Shirley is on my team. We love Shirley around here. So congratulations, Shirley. And this week, you can win. Sorry, I'm trying to do 900 things at once and things are popping up and I don't like it. And so this week, you can win a prize that I actually featured on my card on Thursday, I think it was, or Wednesday. It's the Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper, and this is from Sale-A-Bration, and there's a lot of paper in here, a lot. And this is a sampler pack, so you get one sheet of each design in the sampler packs from me, and there's a lot. There's a whole bunch. I'm trying to show it all to you. There's a ton. Sorry, I'm still trying to share this dang video. So if you want to win that, you can leave a comment here, or you can comment shared, and that'll get you 2 entries. Share to a group. Sorry, I'm trying to move quick. There we go. All right, we're shared into the VIP group. Hello to my VIPers. Oh, I have to hit post. There we go. So if you want to win that, I will be doing the drawing next Friday. And if you want to earn this is free with a $50 order in my online store. So let's get started on our project, though, because I have spent way too much time talking. I'm going to turn my camera off and turn it around so that way you can see my desk. Let me see. And, oops, I didn't even get my tripod thing ready. Sorry, guys. It's a Friday. I'm having a little difficulty. All right, camera back on. There we go. That's not good enough. Sorry. Ugh. All right, that is good enough. So there is my January host code. And if you order $50 or more at my online store, you can earn that Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper for free. Today, though, we are going to be working with the stamp set I forgot to get out. Here it is. Awesome Otters. This is also free with a $50 purchase in my online store. And this is a cling stamp set. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stamps. And we are going to be making these cards. So I have a Highland Heather, a Daffodil Delight, or So Saffron, and a Smoky Slate. Smoky Slate. So I have the paper here. This is the Simply Marbleous. I like saying it like that. Simply Marbleous Designer Series paper. And it looks like this. Like this. All right, I have way too many papers. Okay. So there is the Highland Heather. I think that's Highland Heather. It has Balmy Blue, Basic Gray. Oh, that's Basic Gray. Oh, no, that's Smoky Slate. Balmy Blue, Basic Gray, Blushing Bride, Bumblebee, Coastal Cabana, Flirty Flamingo, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Pool Party, Smoky Slate, and So Saffron. So that yellow is So Saffron. I am out of breath from reading all of those colors. So this is the Highland Heather or Gorgeous Grape. I don't have all the papers here, you guys. I'm not with it today. Anywho, we're only working with 4 of them. Hello, Mary. I'm glad you joined me today. Oh, here's the other colors. They're in the back. There's some more colors. It's so pretty. And this, like I said, is free with a $50 purchase in my online store. Today, we are going to be making the balmy blue version of this card. So I'm going to show you exactly how to color the otter, how to do all the fun things. So I got to get my pieces in order here. I have a balmy blue card base that measures 8.5 by 5.5 and is scored at 4.25. We're just going to go ahead and fold that in half. And then I'm going to burnish that with my bone folder to get a nice straight edge. And then I have a piece of the Simply Marbleous designer series paper. This is cut at 5.25 by 4, and we're going to be using that side. That side just looks like water to me. That side's pretty too, and we're also going to be using that. I'll show you that in a second. So that layer's on there like that. Then I have a piece for the inside. Let's just do this one. I don't know if I wrote stamped on the inside. I did not. So this is just a piece for the inside. It's a basic white 5.25 by 4. And this is a little tiny strip of the designer series paper. You can use either side you want. This is cut at 1/2 inch by 4. And all I'm going to do is just take some seal. I like to decorate the inside of my cards, whether it be stamping or doing paper. I find this is a great way to do if you're in a hurry or if you're making a lot of the same card. So let's go ahead and just put that inside our card base quick, and then we'll get to some stamping. And you can see it's not on there perfectly, but it's okay because once you flip it over, see I have a little bit hanging over there. Once you flip it over there, you can't even tell. So I'm going to put that down in there. And I have already stamped my otter. I used this guy here. And there's 3 little otters. I use that one. This one would be cute, I think, too, like he's swimming in the water. But I used that guy there. And what I did was I have some of the watercolor pencils. I have both assortments. And to be honest with you, I mixed them all together. So I'm not sure which assortments these come from. But these are relatively inexpensive. So I have Pacific Point, Balmy Blue, Early Espresso, and Basic Gray. And we're just going to color the otter. So what I did here is first I started with the Early Espresso. Now these are super easy to work with. I recommend starting with a really light hand. You don't want to push too hard because the harder you push, the more color you're going to get. So what I did was kind of on these lines here, I did kind of go a little hard, but I'm just lightly coloring. And I love to color. It's very relaxing for me. And Early Espresso is one of our darker browns, but if you color this guy lightly, you'll see what I'm talking about when I grab my water painter. It doesn't turn out as dark as you might think. Because what happens is when the water gets on the color from these pencils, it acts like almost a watercolor paint. It really lightens up, and it's really easy to blend and pull the color. So I'm done with the Early Espresso. And what I did on each of the cards, for the little fish that he's holding, I colored each of them. I'll show them the color of my card base. So this one is Smoky Slate. And that one is So Saffron. And that one is Highland Heather. So just to give it a little bit of a matchy kind of look. Hello, Tammy. How are you? Glad you could join us. So now I'm just taking the Balmy Blue and I'm coloring this fish. And I went kind of really light on the head of the fish. And I'm going darker, pushing harder on the pencil for the body. And like really hard over the scales. Just because, like I said, the harder you push, the more color you're going to get. So then I'm going to take the Pacific Point, done with the Balmy Blue. I like to move things aside as I'm done with them so I don't overdo it. I'm just going to trace over these water lines. And I kind of did the whole thing. I'm just very lightly, and like I said, you don't have to get all the white. You'll see what I mean once I get the water painter out. These blend out super pretty and gives it such a nice watercolory look. I also forgot to mention, if you do happen to place an order in my online store and your order is over $150, do not use the host code. I use the host code every month, and any rewards I get, I use to buy things for you guys and for my VIP group giveaways. So if your order is over $150, you get all the Stampin' rewards. So if you put in a $20 order, you don't get rewards for that, but it adds up for me at the end of the month, and then I just use that money or the Stampin' rewards to buy things like ribbon and embellishments to give away to you guys. So now I'm using, this is basic gray, and I'm going super light with the basic gray because the basic gray can almost be like black if you do it too hard. So then I just have my water painter, and I have the fine tip there. I'm just going to, on my grid paper, make sure I got water on it. And I'm going to start with the early espresso. And I'm just using a little bit of water, and I'm moving that color around. And you could definitely do this with watercolor paper. This is just regular basic white though. This works well for this technique. And like I said, little goes a long way. You don't want your water painter to be too saturated, too wet. And you definitely want to use either Memento or StazOn. StazOn for sure won't move. Memento might if you don't let it dry. So I probably stamped this guy about a week ago. So the Memento ink is definitely dry, but if you're using Memento, I recommend letting it dry or maybe taking a heat tool and drying that ink because this could make it blend a little or bleed a little bit. I'm just going to clean that off because I don't want to get any of the gray or brown into my blue. And it just blends so nice. So you'll really see it once I get to like the water part. I'm going to hold that up and you can see how it's pencil marks. It looks like pencil marks. Once I use this on it though, it's going to blend all that together and there will be no more pencil marks. And you can use a little bit more water once or squeeze a little bit more on the water painter once you're out here, just because you have more room and there's not as much detail like there is on the little otter. And if you notice too, when I was coloring, I kind of went back and forth. I'm doing the same motion with my water painter, going back and forth to give it the appearance of water. And I wish I would have brought a paper towel into the craft room today, but I did not. So, and if you find you don't like the lightness of the color, you can always let that dry and go back in with your watercolor painter, but you want to let that dry. So I just cleaned off my brush, and that looks good to me. So let me bring it back up and show you how those lines kind of disappear. Whoops. Those lines kind of disappeared, and it looks more like he's floating in water now. So we can set that to the side. The next part of the stamping is I cut out this little label from the Tasteful Labels dies. I love those dies. They're my favorite. I can show you because they're right up front. So these are the Tasteful Label dies. They are definitely my favorite. I use this guy here to cut that little label for our sentiments. And to me, these, if you only bought one die set for your whole life, I recommend Tasteful Labels. They're my favorites. So I'm going to use the You're Utterly Awesome stamp because I just think that's super cute. And I'm going to grab a B block and my Balmy Blue ink pad. So what I did is on the other cards too, I matched the color. Or no, I didn't. I used gray. I'm not grabbing Balmy Blue. I'm grabbing basic gray. I remember now. I didn't want it to be straight black. I thought that looked too harsh with the watercolor, so I used basic gray for all of them. I thought I matched the colors because sometimes I do that. So I'm just lining up this label on my grid paper. And I'm kind of trying to aim for the center of this label. Looks good to me. I can put away my ink pad. There's really kind of minimal stamping on this card. I'm just moving my stamp to the side so that way I don't put my finger in it. And now we can put everything together. So I didn't mention that either. I used the layering circles dies to cut out my otter. And then I used one of the scallop circles from that same die set to cut out a piece of balmy blue cardstock. I'm just going to adhere that, and this is still kind of wet, so I'm being careful. It might rip the cardstock a little. Theoretically, you'd like to wait for that to dry, but we are live. I'm not waiting. I'm going to flip that over, and I only have one dimensional left on my dimensional sheet, but what we can do is use paper snips and cut around the edges. These are still dimensionals, and these will still pop up your projects, and I don't like to waste things. So I'm just using the edges of the Stampin' Dimensionals, and they work just the same. Sometimes they stick to the little paper backing though. And I want this really popped up, so I'm making sure to put enough on there. And this can go in the top right corner of our Simply Marbleous Designer Series paper. I love saying it like that, sorry. And then I have some of the Whisper White or Basic White frayed ribbon. This is in the January to June mini catalog. I don't have my Scotch tape. Normally I would just tape it to the back, but I'm just going to use a little piece of seal and adhere it there. Wrap it around. And I'm actually, before I wrap it around, I'm going to run a little seal along it so that way it will stick, because we're putting our sentiment on here. I'm trying to get that as straight as possible on there. I know you can't really see it. And I cut my ribbon a little bit long, but that's okay. Just adhere it to the back. Then we can put this on our card base before I stick it to my grid paper. And I got some ribbon, some frayed ribbon stuck to it. That's okay. And then I'm going to take some more of my edges of my dimensionals here. And stick that on our card. About center. And so that is our project for today. Now you could add some embellishments. I didn't to this, but some basic rhinestones, some pearls, I think would look super cute. Oh, can't get them all in. There we go. So there are 4 cards using Simply Marbleous and the Awesome Otters stamp set. So if you want to bring your own craft and be a part of my craft night on January 29th, feel free to hop on into my VIP group. The link is in the description. And I will see you guys in my VIP group for the live on Sunday. And if I don't see you then, I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.